let's build something in Python that's very useful. And I've already used this, I've already built it. I'm going to rebuild it for you so you can see how you can use Python to make really cool animations that explain things. So here's the problem. The problem was online. It was people talking about this situation where you had an object going from 0 to 10 meters per second, and then if you calculate the change in kinetic energy, you get 100 joules. If you go from 10 to 20, the same change in speed, then you get a work done, a change in kinetic energy of 300 joules. And so those are not the same, even though it's really essentially the same change in speed. So what I want to do is to show how this works. Maybe you already know the problem here, right? If I apply a force to this and to increase its energy, here it's going to be applied over a longer distance, even if it has the same acceleration, because it's moving faster. And so this one, if you just look at that one thing, it looks like it has a greater work done on it because it moves further. However, if you consider that it's interacting with another particle and you look at the total change in energy, you're cool. So I want to build a model that looks like this. I'm going to have a ball and another ball with a spring between them. And then they're moving along with some speed, and then the spring explodes and they move apart, and we can calculate the change in kinetic energy. And then we can do the same thing moving along with it. So we can do, and we can see if the same thing works. I'm really going to focus on modeling it. I'm not going to worry about calculating the changes in kinetic energy because that's not that difficult to do. The issue is with the building of the Python. So let's just jump into Python. I'm just going to start right to it, and we're going to make it. Okay, so here I have an empty page. Let's make, and I always do print one and then save and trinket when I use trinket, because sometimes if you don't do that, if you don't run it before you save it, it like, at least it happened in the past, it would save more than one time, and I didn't like that. So, okay, I want to make two spheres with the spring connecting them, and I want to make them move. Okay, and then I'm going to move the camera so you can see it in the camera frame. And why am I looking at that camera? It's this camera right here. Okay. So let's just say B1 is a sphere. Its position is vector negative 0.500, and it has a radius of 0.05 and a color of color.cyan run. So when you make one object even, I like to run it just to make sure things are working. And there's my sphere. Looks like it works. I'm happy. Okay, I want to put like the other sphere to the left and up from that. So let's make a second sphere that's a little bit smaller. B2 sphere position is going to be equal to B1.pos, right? I want to take that position and move it over a little bit. So let's say it's that position plus the vector in the negative direction, negative 0, 0.0. I'm trying to pick a good, let's say 0.1, and then up 0.05. I did 1.5. Okay, I did that again. Let's give it a, and then I need it through. There is a z coordinate. And then I need a radius. Let's make this a little bit smaller, 0.03. Give it a color. Color equals color dot yellow. Yellow and cyan are my favorite colors to start off with a black background. So if you have a black background, those are good colors that show up really well. Let's just run this. Okay, so there's my two things. Moving right. Now I'm going to have a spring connecting between them. I'm going to draw the spring. I'm not going to calculate the spring. I'm just going to draw it. This one I always get messed up, but the spring is a type called a helix. And it's just like a cylinder in that you give it the vector location of one end, and then the axis is a vector from that end to the other end. So the position, let's put it at b1.pos. And then the axis is going to be b2.pos minus b1.pos. Right, so it's going to go from B2 to B1. The radius is the radius of the whole coil. So the radius should be smaller than that one, 0.01. I'm just trying that out. And then we have a couple other parameters, but let's just run this and see if that looks fine the way it is. Yeah, it's there. I don't know if you can see that. There's my coil. It looks fine. I want to make the wire thicker, and I want to give it more turns. So thickness, and I can't remember how they define this. Let's put 0.1 and let's just run it and see what happens. Well, that actually is pretty good. I think that's okay. And I could probably even leave it at that value. I want to increase the number of turns. The default is 5. So let's say turns equals 7. Let's just see what that looks like. Is it turns? maybe it's coils. Let's just put it at 10, something super high. So that didn't change, so it must be coils. Yep, that's it. So if you go to the document page for WebVPython and click on objects and look at the helix, it tells you those properties. So you don't, if you can't remember, that's fine. You don't have to remember. But there, I have already a good start to my little thing there, right? That's pretty cool. Okay. Now I need to give it some properties so I can move it along. I'm not going to make it explode. I'm just going to make it move. I'm going to go ahead and give it a mass. B1.m is, what did I use before? 0.1. This one's good. Yeah. Let's put 0.2. B2.m is 0.1. Now I need an initial velocity. I'm going to write this as a vector. V0 equals vector 0.300. This is just how fast it's going to move. It's not a big deal. And now I'm going to give them both the momentum. You don't have to do that. I like to use momentum. B1.p equals B1.m times V0. B2.p is B2.m times V0. Let's just go ahead and move everything along now. So t equals 0, dt equals, I could do 0.001 or 0.01. I'm going to go with a smaller time interval just because I think that'll work better. While t less than 1. I'm just going to run it for 1 second. So remember, rate tells us how many loops to do per second. So rate of 1,000 means it will take 1,000 loops to get to 1 second, or run in real time. The first, all we're doing is moving stuff. We're not doing anything crazy. So I want to move B1, I want to move B2, and I want to move the spring. B1.pos is B1.pos plus B1.p times et divided by B1.m, right? B1.m, p divided by m is the velocity. And now I need to move B2, B2.pos, B2.pos plus B2.p times et divided by B1, B2.m, and then I need to move the spring. So spring.pos is equal to B1.pos. So B1 moved, so the spring is going to move. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move the axis too. The axis doesn't change, right? It should just move horizontally along like that. But I'm going to do it anyway. It's just a good practice. Spring.axis equals B2.pos minus B1.pos. And then I need to update time. This is the one, if you forget, you'll be stuck in an endless loop forever. Let's see if it works. So my idea is to have it move for 1 second, explode, and then keep moving. So I'm going to break it into 3 phases. That's my first stage. Now I want to move it for the next stage. Okay, now here's where I'm going to make a mistake, and so it's fine if you make this mistake. The first thing I'm going to do is to calculate the vector r, which is from B1 to B2. So it's B2.pos minus B1.pos. I'm going to need that in my loop later. Next, I'm going to do a loop while t is less than 1.5, which is not what I want. But I want to make sure things are working before I put a better loop on there. And then I need the rate. And now what I want to do is to recalculate r. Because what's going to happen is the position of these 2 balls are going to change throughout the course of the calculation. So I need to redo that at the beginning. I need it before the loop too because I'm going to use it in my loop condition. And that's just going to be there. Now what I want to do is to calculate the force on the 2 masses due to the spring. So let's go up here and give our spring some properties. So I'm going to say the spring constant K is 0.7. I picked that before. And I need the unstretched length, right? Because I want to say it's not going to be the length is the spring force because it already has some unstretched length. And I used an L0 before of 0.3. I think that'll work. Okay. So now here's the part that I messed up. And that's why I'm looking over there because I get it backwards all the time. You can think it through and find it out, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do F12. This is the force that 1 exerts on 2, right? Yes. It's going to be K times the magnitude of r, which is the length of the spring, minus the unstretched length of the spring. So I have to do magnitude, right, because I don't know which direction it's oriented. I do, it's not going to change, but I still should do it that way. And then I need to turn this back into a vector, so I'm going to multiply it by norm r. So that's the unit vector in the direction of r. And so now I'll get it back as a vector. Now you may say, should there be a minus sign there, or should there not be a minus sign in front? That's where I always mess up. And so I just did it the wrong way, and I got it the right way after I knew I did it the wrong way. Now I can use that force to update the momentum. B1.p is equal to B1.p plus F12, no, this, yeah, I got it backwards, that's why, times dt. As long as you get it to work, it doesn't matter. B2.p equals B2.m minus F12 times dt. So remember that if I have the force on 1, the force on 2 is the opposite of that. So I can just multiply by a negative sign. I don't need to recalculate it. Now I can update the positions. B1.pos, B1.pos plus B1.p times dt divided by B1.m. Just a quick note, when you're doing these kind of calculations, you always want to do highest derivative things first. So calculate the force first, then update the momentum, then update position. B2.pos is B2.p OS plus B2.p times dt divided by B1.m, B2.m. Now I need to update the spring. So spring.pos equals B1.pos. Remember, we have a detached mass 1. And then spring.axis is B2.pos minus B1.pos. Now I need to update time. T equals T plus dt. Let's just run it and see what happens. And save, maybe we should save, run. Okay, looks good. So now what I want to do, since it's expanding, right, I had the thing compressed, and that depends on your initial conditions. If you're not careful, you could have them closer than or further away, so it actually pulls them together. But I got it the right way. So what I want to do is to say, I'm going to let that push them apart until it reaches the natural length, and then stop pushing, because it doesn't. I don't want to pull them back together. So down here, I'm going to change this to while mag of r is less than L0, right? So once it gets to L0, then it stops. And now it stops. So now what I want to do is to let them move along again, but not change the force. So I'm going to have a new loop down here for time. And I don't know what the time is. I don't really care. It's really for animations. So let's say while t is less than, I don't know, 3. Let's just try that. Rate 1,000. And now actually, I just want to go back, and I know the final momentums for both the objects. I just need to update the positions. So B1.pos is B1.pos plus B1.p times dt divided by B1.m. And, ooh, what the heck? B2.pos is B2.pos plus B2.p times dt divided by B2.m. Now I need to update the spring. Now here I'm just going to update the position. And I'm not going to have it connected to the other mast, right? So it's going to be like stuck. It'll make it look realistic. So spring.pos is B1.pos. Now update time, t equals t plus dt. Let's check it out. I like it. Okay, now you could add forces on there to show those forces. I'm not going to do that. But I do want to, before I move to the moving frame, and again, I'm not going to make graphs and stuff like that. I'm just focusing on the animation here. In order to move along with the camera, I want to go ahead and put some background dots in there so that we can see the motion, right? So if I'm following along with the two balls, I can still tell I'm moving because the background dots will be moving. So up here, let's make some dots. I'm going to put them right here. Let's say, there's a couple ways to do this. dots is going to be a list of things. I don't need to, I don't even actually need to make a list because I don't need to move them, but that's what I did. Let's not move them. So let's just say r start, r temp is going to be equal to vector negative 0.5, 0.0. Let's just try that, 0.10. I'm trying to think, I want them shifted up a little bit. I don't want them right behind the two spheres. Now, while r temp dot x is less than 1. So I'm going to put dots from -1 to 1. And I do need a d, how big of a step I want. So how far apart? Let's say dx is 0.2. I'm just picking something. We can change it. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to take my r temp value and put a sphere there. So sphere, the position is going to be, see, notice I didn't give it a name. I don't have to give it a name. It's just going to draw it. The position is r temp. The radius, I want it to be smaller. So I had those radius at 0.05. Let's put 0.01. That's it. I'm not going to give it any color, and that's it. All I want to do now is to move r temp. So r temp equals r temp plus vector dx 0. Let's just see what happens. There you go. There are my dots. And I can see that stuff is or is not moving. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, now I want to move the camera along with the initial velocity. And how do you do that? So if you go to the help, there's a thing called scene.camera.pos. I can just move scene.camera.pos. So I'm going to add that in all of my time loops and move it along, and we can see what happens. And again, you could calculate the velocity by subtracting the velocity of the frame to get the velocities in the new frame, but I'm not going to do that. So after I move the spring, I'm just going to say scene.camera.pos is scene.camera.pos plus v0 times dt, right? So v0 is my vector velocity. I'm going to put that same line down here, and then I'm going to put that same line down here. Now let's see what happens. So I'm moving the camera. That's cool, huh? So it's the same motion, it's just I'm moving along with the camera. Now if you want to graph things, you want to calculate the kinetic energy change, and spring potential energy, and all that cool stuff, you can do that. But that is that. And in fact, I'll link a blog post that I did on Medium down below if you want to look at more details and see more graphs. But there you go. I'll put the link to this code too. You got this code, the end.